I wish that I was, but unfortunately, I'm not. Did I expect to be, almost 40 years old and posting videos about the ghosts in my house? No. But that's just what's happening, and I've kind of had to accept that. Ever since I moved in, odd things happen. And when I say odd things, I don't mean like in the movies where like, oh, there's little, sounds all the time. I mean like I'll be sitting in my home office and things will just fall out of midair. Like for instance, one time I was working at my desk here and for some reason a seashell fell out of like what seemed like the ceiling or midair above me when there's no shelves, there's no place for it to have come from, been knocked off of or anything like that. Not only do things show up, another thing that shows up all the time, oddly enough, is coins. When I first moved in, I would find piles of coins everywhere. And at first I thought maybe it was my partner. I thought, like, that's odd. I don't know why he would drop coins about, but it wasn't him. Um, and I just kept picking him up and putting him in a container. I'm like, okay, thanks for the change. Um, and then finally one day I told my friends about it. I'm like, have you ever like heard of any sort of like ghost or entity that just leaves coins? Um, and we kind of had a laugh about it. And, one of them was kind of like, well, maybe you're just like, maybe it's just whatever, like you're forgetting, you're dropping them, whatever. And then I get home from work that day, the day I finally tell my friends about it, and there is a huge pile of coins, like right, like basically on my walkway, right, like from the sidewalk up to my house, right before you get to the stairs. There's just a huge pile of coins, and I'm like, okay, that's very funny. It doesn't do that anymore. I guess maybe they ran out of ghost change. Um, but things go missing. There's these odd flashes of light all the time. Like you'll be trying to sleep and it'll look like fireworks, almost not fireworks, but like flashes of light outside. Like see if there was a firework outside, you wouldn't see the whole firework. You would just see like bright splashes of light, like that type of thing. Electronics turn off and on, or just won't work. There's been times where there's no reason for our computers, internet, etc., not to work. There's no outages for our neighbors, nothing. And it's almost like they just want us to be frustrated because we'll give up and then like almost as just like a last whatever, I'll go check again and it'll work just fine. Just a lot of odd interruptions and different things like that. So that's why I finally was like, maybe I just need to ask. And at first we bought the Ouija board and I got weirded out really fast with that. I was like, I don't like this. I've had bad experiences with them in the past. But then I was watching a documentary, totally kind of unrelated, but they used a spirit box and I can't really afford one. They're a little bit expensive and I'm on a super budget right now. But I found an app that does the same thing, the Ghost Tube app, and then it even has one where it can translate the pictures into AI drawings, which I started doing. But I do need some help sometimes deciphering them. So that's why another reason I decided to start posting them. And just as a way, also maybe to normalize this. Like if you're going through something like this, I thought I was a little bit crazy at first, but um, you're not. I think this sort of thing is real. I wouldn't believed it if I haven't experienced myself. So I totally understand people thinking I'm trolling. But unfortunately, I'm not. And like I said in another comment, maybe it's just me because this house does seem to be haunted. I went to a psychic about it. They think that there's a portal here. So the veil is thinner, which allows different entities, beings, energies to pass through. Um, but I've also had some experiences outside of my house. It seems like being a spiritual person, maybe they are comfortable reaching out to me. So I've been trying to get used to just communicating and interacting and not letting my fear impulses override it and just see what happens. And I don't feel as afraid as I used to. It's weird, especially because it almost seems like one of the ghosts in my house is like an edgy teenager. who likes to say scary things or try to tell me to leave all the time or say blood all the time. Like, just like like if you were a brand new ghost and you were a teenager, like I feel like that's what I would do. I would just try to be edgy and scary, and I feel like that's what that ghost does. Or maybe they just have an attitude problem. I don't know, but I wish I was trolling. That's the long answer, but unfortunately, I am not.